All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. We tried to be with some t-shirts, so thanks for coming in. I know it's right after lunch or right during lunch, so we appreciate it. As this young lady in the front reminded me to tell you, I am not Falk Gottlob. I am Raphael Allenda. I'm the Vice President of Marketing at Quip. Falk couldn't make it today, so I came in and you've got me, as well as my colleague Sarah Carver, who's going to come up and join me to go through a demo of the product at the end. We have a really strong, clear mission at Quip. We want to help the way teams work together. We want to change it fundamentally because we think the way teams work today is changing and is fundamentally broken. And so this is a really crucial thing, business impact that's having on teams at companies today. And we think it's changing, but the tools that people use and teams use today to work are broken. So what are we going to spend most of the day, most of the session going through? We're going to talk about what is Quip. I'm going to show you a few examples of like teams and how teams can use Quip to help work better. And then we're going to go through, as I mentioned, Sarah is going to join us to do a live demo of the product. And hopefully we'll have a few minutes left over to do some Q&A and give you guys a chance to ask us some questions. So a little audience participation. Whoop, there we go. Hands up who has used Google Maps before? Yeah. What about Facebook? All right. Have you ever typed into a Google search bar and it started to suggest a few things that kind of, they're trying to guess what you're searching for? Yeah? That's what I thought. So we're pretty lucky here at Quip because both of our founders were the creators of a lot of this technology. Kevin Gibbs was the tech lead for the Google Cloud Platform, which is powering some of the most scalable and largest cloud apps today. He's also the, I don't know if it's the inventor or the creator of the Google Suggest API that spawned the Google Suggest Labs. And then that rather young gentleman to the left is Brett Taylor, and he was one of the co-authors of Google Maps. And then later became the CTO at Facebook. And what's really critical about Brett's time at Facebook is he was there as the company was transitioning to a mobile platform. So keep that in mind as I go through this, because it definitely leads to a lot of why Quip was built and what it does and why it's such a mobile first product. So these two gentlemen worked at two of the most innovative and successful companies, and they led technical teams there. And they were going through, in both companies, they were going through dramatic digital transformations. As I talked about with Facebook, they were going through a mobile transformation. They were going from the browser. All their customers were going to the mobile platform. And they had to re-arm the way they worked, the way they built software, the types of people they could hire. And they were doing that, and they did that successfully, as you can tell. All you have to do is look at their market cap. But what Brett did is, as he looked around his teams, he saw that the tools they were using were not as innovative and fast-paced as he was asking his team to move. And that started the interest in building out a product that addressed this issue. They were friends, they'd met at Google, and they were talking about how could we fundamentally change productivity and collaboration? What would we build today that's going to work in 10 years' time? And if we were going to build productivity and collaboration tools with mobility at the center of it, how would we do it? And that's some pretty big, lofty goals that these two wanted to do. And so they recruited some of their best engineers from these two companies, and they started Quip. And what they did is they went back to first principles. They started to think about the history of productivity and what it was about. And the reality is, at the center of productivity and collaboration is communication. And they went back in history and they thought about how that thread of communication went through the way we communicated. And we started the caveman. It didn't all start with PowerPoint. They were using cave paintings to communicate with each other, tell stories with each other. And from there, we went to writing. You could write and communicate asynchronously, and from farther distances. And then the printing press came along, and that way you could address larger audiences. And then we started democratizing those tools. So if you had a typewriter, you could typeset a document. And those copiers in our offices, they were printing presses that we were able to use. And then in the 80s, these two gentlemen came along, and they started to digitize all these things that we knew. So Word was digitizing that piece of paper in the typewriter. The slide rule on our desks at the time, they became Excel. The transparency in our overhead projectors, they became PowerPoint. And it was fundamentally disrupted the way companies work together. And then the 90s came, and we got the internet. And with the internet came this notion of emailing, the ability to send these 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper across fiber optic cable, sending them to people all over the world. And the possibilities were immense. And that was the new promise. And we thought everything was fixed. But what did we get? Well, we get this. It's giving me hives just looking at it. I think this is today's world for most of us. Just buried in email. Our inboxes are full of things that we need to check on, things we are using, the way we're interacting with people in our teams. And it's really, really inefficient. And why? But why did email take off? Besides just the fundamental rapidity of it, it came off because, to our point earlier, communication is at the heart of productivity. And email was a strong communication tool, but it's not a productivity tool. And I'll explain why. It's the more email, more problems issue. Email wasn't built for productivity. It wasn't built for collaboration. It was built for communication. With email, creates more file versions. Now you've got these local files on your desktop that you have to figure out which one's the right one. You're constantly searching for work, so they implemented a search box into your inbox, and now you're trying to search through all the millions of emails or thousands of emails that you and your teams are dealing with. Because email doesn't work as a collaboration tool, you end up setting up meetings because you can't make decisions through email effectively, which ends up really doubling the work. And the poor mobility, yes, we check our email on our mobile phones all the time, but when you're in an email thread of say 15 emails back and forth between a large group, that's where email on mobile breaks down. And the outcome of this is we work slow, we work disconnected. It's not your fault, it's not our fault. These are the tools we were given. And so, I don't know about you, but this is the kind of the reality I had before I was working with Quip. I had to ask people to resend me emails. We're looking for that file. It's that final really, this really is the final version 9, which really isn't the final one. You don't know where to find the file. Once again, you go to set up a meeting. You don't know if you're looking at the current set of requirements for technical teams, for example. Are they up to date? Are they not? Because they're buried in your inbox. And you just can't see all the edits. You're trying to figure out what Phil 13 emails before is trying to say, and you're trying to scroll down, and there's that long line in Gmail that you're going through mobile. We all live those pain points. And what that results in is what? Where do you go? There. Oh, I went backwards. I apologize. These are great slides. Let's look at them again. Oh, this is when transitions don't work. There we go. It creates this thing we know and we call the productivity gap. Because it's not only just email. We've had a tremendous amount of spend, I think $157 billion in the last 3 years in productivity apps alone, not just email. So because email doesn't work, all these companies have built all these apps. And they don't work, so we go back to email. And why don't they work? Well, there are a lot of apps where teams are using them to discuss the work. So email, meetings, mobile, team chat, video conference. That's where work is being discussed. And then we have another set of apps where work is being created, as I've talked about before. Documents, spreadsheets, the slides, wikis, so we can actually capture the knowledge of a company within a wiki, and task apps. You can see some of the stats below here. 40% of the time spent at work, for most of us, is spent on unproductive, going through your inbox, trying to figure out all this information. It's information gathering. It's not moving work forward. So what if we could fix the productivity gap? And that's what Quip was built to do. Quip is an integrated hub. It's cloud connected, and it contains documents, spreadsheets, task lists, chat, live CRM data from Salesforce now, and I'll chat on that a little bit. And it's truly mobile first. I like to talk about it as superpowers. The superpower of Quip is it combines content creation and communication together. You no longer working across multiple apps. So a team can be in one place, talking about the work directly next to the work. And Quip has 4 product promises. We can help you create work together better. We can help you collaborate without email. We're integrated as a platform. And we are mobile first. There is no better mobile solution in the productivity space than Quip. And I guarantee you, it is tremendous. So let's go through each one of the product promises. Creating work together. As you'll see here, this is what we talk about as a living document, because Quip, as you'll see in a minute, it's more than just a white piece of paper. It's a smart canvas. You can add objects to it. A beautiful Quip doc is when you can combine text, images, spreadsheets, and then collaborate around them. So don't be fooled by just the white space. Your team can simultaneously edit in these documents. We built spreadsheets. The technical team that Brett and Kevin put, they actually went and built spreadsheets from the ground up. These are not Excel spreadsheets. These are not third-party spreadsheets. We built them from the ground up so they can work better together. They're integrated. So you're able to add a spreadsheet in a document and reference the data from the spreadsheet into the document. You can collaborate and communicate on each cell. You can only do that when you build it from first principles and ground up. We've added checklists, so you can combine. You can make meeting notes bullet points, and in one button convert them into task lists. You can add people's names to them, so you can assign responsibility, and then you can add dates to them with natural language. That adds accountability. So now you have visibility of who's on point for this action item and when it's ready to go. And because it's team-based, everyone has access to that information. And then linking. You can link other Quip documents within a document, so it works as a really efficient natural hub. The second promise is collaborate without email. As you'll see on the right-hand side of this document is a conversation pane. Anyone who is a member of that document can now talk about the work next to the work. We use the @ symbol, just like we do in Facebook and Twitter. We've integrated that directly into the product. And you can start adding objects and adding people to that document. So you type in an @ symbol, you can add a spreadsheet. You can add Kelly from accounting. You can add whoever you want who is a member of the site directly into the document, and you can talk to them directly there. We have read receipts and likes. One thing I didn't add is Brett is also given the credit of creating the like button. So felt like it made sense to add it to the document. And it's nice and it's social, but it also adds a really kind of fluid way that we work. You can now be mentioned in something, be asked a question, or be asked for your opinion, and if you like it, you click the thumbs up. You don't have to go back and forth. It's super fluid. It moves work forward. And not only can you talk on the side of the document, you can actually talk in the document. So you can do inline comments right there, right at the specific part. And when you @mention somebody in the document, that person gets a notification. And it brings them directly into the document, right where you wanted them to see the content you wrote for them. That stuff used to be done through email. And you no longer have to do it through email. You do it directly on the document, right directly in one hub. The third promise, and this is really exciting since we We were acquired by Salesforce in September, and we quickly got to working with the platform and integrating. We are able to, through our integration with CRM, we're able to bring in live data directly from Salesforce. So you can here right now, if you can, in the table below, there's a little cloud glyph in that data. That's data directly from an object in CRM. And it's live. So if it gets updated in Salesforce, it reflects the most up-to-date information in Quip. And you can actually click through in any of these links, and you'll be taken directly to CRM. It's incredibly powerful. You can imagine, instead of like making sure that like the downloading the multiple CSVs that you normally do to look at reports, this now just stays alive in a Quip document. We also, because it's a platform, we also automate processes with our API. So our technical team, we bring in our GitHub commits directly into a chat room. We bring in like our Jenkins updates. So we can actually see, you can bring in third-party services that your teams use directly into a chat room. I run marketing, so what I do is any Twitter comment with @Quip in it, I bring it, we can see it directly in chat room. I don't have to be monitoring Twitter. So it's really nicely integrated with third-party services. And then as another part of the integration, we OAuth with your Salesforce credentials. And our fourth one is mobile. As I said earlier, Brett and Kevin really wanted to address this mobile issue. We wanted to make sure that regardless of the platform, regardless of the device that you were using, you should not have to give up features and fidelity. Every feature that is available in Quip in the browser or in our desktop apps, because we have desktop apps, is available on mobile phone. Now, most of the time, we don't create content on mobile phone, and that's OK. But the ability to not have to pinch and zoom, the ability to go directly into the communication, the conversation of the document, it works just like the modern apps that we use today in our everyday lives. And it's really transformed the way I work and the way I see my team work. I can be away on my commute home, and I can go through 5 different topics that my team wants to go through, and that's not done through email. And it's async, but it's faster. And the great thing is, I'm biased. I can tell you this thing is great, but it's even better when we ask our customers and they tell us how great it is. So we did a survey late last year, and we were really encouraged and really happy about the results. Our customers told us that Quip had helped them reduce the time to completion for key projects, initiatives, whatever, by about 37%, because they were eliminating the craft of the communication and the inefficiencies of the way teams have worked. They saw a 38% reduction in internal meetings. If I told you you could have 38% less meetings every day, that sounds, I don't know about you. Maybe you love meetings. I don't, for the most part. That's pretty incredible. Team email was reduced by 43%. That speaks to me. It's beautiful. And the best part about it is you get efficient. It's not that you just stop communicating. You actually get more efficient because of it. And what it really does result in is about a 46% improvement in team productivity. Those projects that you don't really get to push over the line, they get done. The clarity and the visibility across the company on what the company is working on, what teams are working on, that suddenly comes alive. And here are some of the innovative companies that are experiencing this. I know it may sound like a slightly unique new way of working, but these incredibly innovative companies are using it. A good example is Facebook. Every day, 22,000 Facebook employees, contractors, and vendors log into Quip and collaborate together. They get work done. That's how they move at a fast pace. Pinterest. They use Quip to make sure their design, their product, and their engineering teams are working together efficiently when they're launching new products. Ultimate Software is a great example. It's a big Salesforce customer in CRM. It is a wall-to-wall use of Quip. They use it as their core productivity software. And what's great is at those companies and others that we haven't mentioned, we tend to get traction within engineering teams and technical teams because it's flexible. It bends the way technical teams want to work. It doesn't stick you in this path of legacy software that is, this is the way to work. These are flows. This is how you work with this. Quip is open. It's integrated. It's a white sheet of paper. You can do whatever you want with it. And so we get lots and lots of traction there. But it's not just for technical teams. Quip is built for every person on every team. In the most successful rollouts, like I said, in Ultimate Software, sales, marketing, executives love it because of the mobile functionality. When they're on the road, they're able to stay on top of what's happening in the business. For me in marketing, my team, we do everything there. We launch products. We write content. We work cross-functionally with the product team, with the sales team. Sales enablement's done through it. And it's very, very powerful. There is no team I can think of that wouldn't be able to benefit from Quip. And so with that, I think we are going to go and transition and show you what the product looks like in real. Thanks.
Thanks, Raf. I'm Sarah Carver. I run product marketing for Quip, and I'm really excited to walk you through a live demo of the product today, because I think that's really the best way to see how amazing Quip is, to see it in action. So we're going to pull up our demo. Probably, sorry, can we, oh. Sorry, just while they sort that out, we'll just, it's on the screen. Yeah, so we're going to take a quick look into Quip. Anyway, there's a lovely lady here in the front row who's actually taking notes on this session in Quip, so I was excited to see that already. Maybe we can just run the demo off our machine. Oh. Yeah, sure. We'll take a question during this intermission.
So you said that you sign on using Salesforce.
Yes.
Not everybody at my company has Salesforce.
That's fine. If you don't have, Quip operates integrated with Salesforce, but you can also log in totally standalone separate. So if you have non-Salesforce users, you could add them to your Quip site as well, and they could log in with their credentials, no problem. If they would see the Salesforce data in the spreadsheet, but they may not have access to the accounts in CRM if they don't have access to Salesforce. Yes, sorry, we're going to hop into the demo, but we're going to do questions at the end. I just want to, but thank you. All right, so here we are inside of Quip. And as you can see, what's really amazing about a Quip document is that this is a living document. It's a smart canvas, as Raf mentioned. So you can see that it's a lot of different things in one document. We have text, we have a checklist, we have reminders, we have images. All of this is, we have a spreadsheet built in here. All of this is inside one document. So that makes it really easy. And this document here is my team. The engineering team is getting ready to launch our summer release. So we have a cross-functional team working together on this release plan and working on some of the new features that we're going to launch. So you can see here that because this is a release launch, we've got a lot of different teams that we need to collaborate across. So I can add different team members into this document as simple as with an @ mention. And in Quip, the @ key is a really amazing key. It's going to help us do a lot of different things. So to start, I'm going to add Andrea into this document. I'm going to need her help on this launch. So we're going to call her into this document. And by adding Andrea, she's going to get a notification to tell her that she's been added into this document. So that's fantastic. We've got her in here. She's going to represent our executive. She's our executive member who's sponsoring this plan. So we added a team member in. Now, if we keep going, one of the other great things about Quip is you can add team members, but you can also link other documents. So you can see in this release plan, obviously we've got a number of different Quip documents that we've created for this release. So I can easily @ mention that summer release document, and now it's linked inside of this project plan for everyone to be able to access. So that means all of our team members are going to have all of the relevant documents in one place. So you're not searching around for files or trying to find what you need. We can just all work together in here. Now, I added this new document in here, and I want to call the team's attention to this because it's really important that they review the summer release. So I can add a comment and @mention everyone. So that means every person who's involved in this document will get a notification letting them know that I've updated this document inside of Quip, and it's really important for them to take a look. Go ahead and send that, and now they've got that on, that notification will pop up on their desktop or their mobile device. So if we keep scrolling down, you can see we have this project plan in a number of different phases. And with each phase, we have a number of things in our checklist that have to get done. So our team's able to check off their task when they get completed. But I've actually got a new task that I need to assign to Andrea. I want to add a new task for her to take care of to make sure that she gets this done. So I need some approval and review from her before we can go to the next step. So I can add her into this check, and I'll add her name, so she'll get a notification. And it's great to be able to assign tasks to your team members and your colleagues. But what's really great is adding accountability inside of Quip. So we're going to actually add a reminder to this task. So that means that we're going to add a date that we need Andrea to have this done by, and she's going to get reminders leading up to this date to prompt her to get the task done. So this helps our team stay on track because not only are they be able to check off when they have it done, but that date reminder keeps them accountable. Perfect. Andrea knows we need her sign up by Friday, so that's fantastic. And if we keep scrolling down, as I mentioned, and Raf mentioned, at Quip, we don't think you should have to choose if you want to use a document or a checklist or a spreadsheet. You should be able to do all of that work inside of one Quip document. So we have embedded spreadsheets directly inside of every Quip document. So you can see here, we built this from the ground up. You can see here in our spreadsheet, we're able to add things like a checklist. We can do conditional formatting, yes, in progress, so our team can easily check this off. We can add those reminders and dates so that this spreadsheet will help drive accountability with our team. It's pretty fantastic, and it's really helpful to keep our team on track as they continue to move through for this release. Now, this spreadsheet is only a few different lines, but you can imagine if you wanted to go into full screen how easy this would be if we had hundreds of rows of spreadsheet to view. And what's really cool in Quip, and I love, you can actually add images inside of spreadsheets as well into a single cell. You can also add comments and notes to a specific cell as well inside of a spreadsheet, which is really helpful. I don't know how many times I've encountered where someone would add a comment to another type of document, and I'd be searching endlessly trying to find where they referenced me. But with Quip, I can actually attach it to a specific cell, and then a team member would know where I need their attention directed. So if we pop out of this spreadsheet, I want to show you the next spreadsheet, because this one's really exciting. This is one of our spreadsheets that has the live Salesforce data. So our team is getting ready to launch some new features, and there's a few strategic accounts that have been asking for this feature for the last couple of months. And we think that if we're able to get this feature released, we have a potential upsell opportunity with some of these accounts. So what we've done is we've added these accounts directly inside of this spreadsheet, so our sales team can keep track of the key accounts that are going to be waiting for this release and this update. So as you can see, whenever you see that blue cloud next to the data, that's live data coming directly from Salesforce. And we can refresh that automatically, or we can have it set to refresh on command. So anytime there's a change happening in Salesforce, that change will be directly reflected here inside of Quip. So I don't know how many folks here in the audience run reports from Salesforce. You probably export them to Excel or another format. But then if something changes in Salesforce, you've got to export that report again. Well, we've eliminated that step with Quip. So all of your up-to-date data can be found directly inside of Quip. So I want to click into one of these accounts to take a look at this opportunity and better understand why they need this new release feature and how we can help close the deal with this. So if you see here, we're right inside of Salesforce now. We've got all the information, and the do with our Quip documents inside of Salesforce, we can actually attach Quip documents inside of any standard object in Salesforce. So for example, we might attach the summer release document directly to this account, because this is an account that's going to be impacted by the summer release, who's excited about the summer release. Now anyone who's viewing that account will know the status of what's going on with the summer release and understand why this is really critical to this customer. So it really gives a new level of visibility to your accounts and opportunities inside of Salesforce. So now that we have those project plans and the summer release doc linked inside of the account, let's jump back into Quip. And I want to show you a few features inside of the spreadsheets. We have over 400 functions for our spreadsheets, so we can easily total up our spreadsheet or any of the other functionality that you're used to using in a spreadsheet. But what's really exciting with Quip is we can actually take this functionality of a spreadsheet into the document itself. It doesn't have to be in the spreadsheet. So I could do an executive summary or reference some of this data in the spreadsheet somewhere else in the Quip document so that we can discuss and collaborate on it and draw attention to it. So I've been doing all this great stuff in Quip. I've got the teams working together on the summer release. We've got sales, marketing, our engineering team, our executive team, all inside of this one document. We've been doing a lot of great work. But one of the things that I want to show you is the conversation pane in Quip. So we've been doing all this work, but inside of Quip, every Quip document has a conversation pane. So you can see here, this is where we talk about work next to our work. So Raf mentioned one of the things that slows a lot of us down at work is we talk about work in one place and then we have to go do it somewhere else. But we've eliminated that extra step inside of Quip. So in the conversation pane, I can see all of the updates, the edits, and comments from my colleagues and around what's happening inside of the document. I can respond, I can like a comment, and I can also talk to our team inside of here as well too. So I want to remind everyone to take a look at the edits that I've made to the document, because we need to have the whole team review this in time for the Friday review. So I can @mention everyone. Now everyone in our group will get a notification to take a look. It's also a great place to let your team know that something's been approved, to give them some kudos. We can have some fun inside of the conversation as well. If you want to, we can add some animated GIFs, we can add images and a lot of other fun things inside as well. So, which makes it a lot of fun. There's an Arthur gift. Who doesn't love kissing a chicken? See, you never know what you're going to get. So this makes it a lot of fun, and it makes it engaging for our team to collaborate and just keep the project moving. So the last thing I want to show you too inside of Quip is the organization of Quip is really strategic, especially for cross-team collaboration. We have folders that allow you to organize all your different areas of work into different places. So the sales team, marketing team, our engineering and dev team all have folders where they keep all the projects and work that they're working on. That way they can organize what they need and what's strategic, and everyone knows where to go look for something if they're trying to find a file. You can easily search inside of Quip and view that folder, which again helps our team stay on track and working better together. Now, I want to take a second because I've been showing you all this really great stuff inside of Quip, and we think it's pretty fantastic. But I want to take a second and now jump over and show you some of these experiences on mobile, because we really believe at Quip that our mobile app is really what sets us apart. So you can see this notification here on my device. We've been working on their project plan, and we mentioned everyone. You can see Logan sent out a comment to the group, and I can swipe into that and actually go inside of it takes me right into the Quip document, directly to that comment where I was mentioned. So I don't have to look around in the document and try and find out where I need to respond. And I want to go ahead and like that and let Logan know that I read it, and I'll go ahead and take a look at that. Now you can see here, when we close that comment, look how fantastic this document looks on mobile. It automatically formats to fit your phone. It's easy to scroll through. All of the functionality I just showed you, I can check off that project resource plan. That's completed, that's done, easy to do. And if you keep scrolling down, you can see the spreadsheet. So how many times have you tried to look at a spreadsheet on your phone and you're pinching and zooming and trying to figure out where stuff is happening? And at Quip, we really eliminated that challenge inside of our spreadsheet, inside of our mobile app. So now I can easily view that spreadsheet. I could add a comment to it. I could respond to another comment. Someone's got a task that is due on Tuesday. I can just check in with them and see how that's coming along. And I'm able to do all of this directly from my phone, which is fantastic because it means that the team doesn't have to slow down when people are away from their desk. It means that all that amazing functionality with Quip comes everywhere we go in your pocket with you. So pretty amazing. And I would encourage everyone, if you're interested, to check it out. You can actually download the Quip app from the App Store and try it out for free if you'd like to give it a look. And now I'm going to invite Raf to come back up because I think we're going to have a few minutes to take some questions. And also, I'd just like to remind everyone, too, we actually have a special trial of Quip for attendees of Trailhead DX. So if you would like to visit quip.com/trailheaddx, you can actually start a free trial, special pricing and special offer for attendees today. So with that, we're going to take a few questions. And Brands has a mic there, so she's going to, our lovely assistant.
While we're figuring out the microphone, what I'd like to say is we showed you a pretty advanced document. We hear this a lot. How do I get started with Quip? I suggest you take a trial. It's free. You can use it with your teammates. And the most effective way to start is just with meeting notes. When you take a meeting notes with 2 or 3 people, it's group meeting note taking. Some of these things might end up being as tasks. You can make things a checklist. And you'll start picking up the momentum of the product. You don't have to go off the deep end and do kind of a big project plan. Meeting notes is a perfect way to get started on Quip. So sorry about that. Go.
Yeah.
So question, so with all the tasks that you assign out, how can I just see all my tasks that are assigned to me? So I can just get a list of like, okay, yeah, here's all my bullet points, here's all my tasks. Yeah. And they might be in different documents because I'm working on different projects. So how can I consolidate a view of saying, okay, what do I need to work on? Where are my tasks?
That's a good question. So right now, what you're able to do is, because we work through notifications, there's an area in the UI where you will be able to click onto the notifications, and that's where you see all your tasks. And so it's pretty clear. You're able to see it will highlight what document the task is in and the date, and it will also ping you on your phone. We are working on an aggregated view of the tasks. But what we didn't want to do, really the spirit and the philosophy of the product is to be very flexible. And so what we don't want to do is create one way of working within Quip. But there is a way to definitely check through notifications as well. It's an aggregated view that's coming.
Another question here. I really like the functionality where you would add mentions, not just people, but also like files and presumably objects. Is there any thought to integrations with things like GitHub or Atlassian, Jira, other objects that developers would reference on a regular basis?
Yes, there is.
Do you want me to safe harbor you before you talk about it?
What's that?
Should I safe harbor you?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. There is something coming that will be coming later this year. I did mention what we have currently right now, some integrations through our API where you're able to bring in data from those third parties. We do have a Slack plugin that's currently available. And so a lot of our customers love Slack as well. And we don't think of them as we find that we're complementary products with them. And so you're able to bring in a Quip doc into a specific channel and essentially be able to access that document directly from that channel. So that's the one that it's out in the market, very strong interconnectivity with a third party. But in the coming year, we're going to be working towards that kind of functionality that you speak of, because we want to become open, we want to be integrated across everything and create tasks, like workflows within a document.
That was part of my question, because I work for hotels.com and we use Jira. So it would be helpful to be able to reference a Jira ticket.
Yes.
Another kind of comment, kind of question, but it seems like you're going to get the best performance out of this if you have the downloaded app, because we use Quip right now. Mostly we're using it for document storage. This is a whole new world that I'm pretty excited about, but so if we are just using the web, you're not going to get those notifications unless you have an app downloaded. Is that correct?
You can opt to have, if you're using that browser version, you can opt to have notifications come in through email or other different channels. But the desktop app or the mobile app are really convenient for the notifications. So I would encourage, if you're using it, you can the mobile app is available to you as well, and you might find that helpful. But you can also set them up through your email if you'd like.
It's a good time for me to remind everyone, or to notify that Quip is available through browser. We have desktop apps for PC as well as Mac, and then we have mobile apps for Android and iPhone. So it's multi-platform. Notifications are available across platforms. If you use the native desktop apps, they're just lightning fast. You're not relying on connectivity with the network. My favorite feature actually of Quip is the offline mode, you can work offline. So if you're flying somewhere and that plane doesn't have Wi-Fi, you can work and have access to everything within the team site right there at your fingertips. And then once you reconnect with the network later on, everything will sync up.
Perfect. We have a question down front and down back. Yeah, Brands has to run.
So you demoed if you have a Salesforce report and you sum up some rows in the document itself. What if you have more than one report? How does it know which report you want to sum up in the document?
Yeah, so we've exported a particular report into that spreadsheet. So the way it works right now is if you export a report, it would appear in one spreadsheet. If you exported a second report, it would appear in another spreadsheet. You could merge those and then sum total if you'd like, but it does it by report right now in the integration.
So you can actually type in like the equals symbol and then click into the cell you want to sum up. So you'd have to do it by table spreadsheet.
Hi.
Brands, we have the lady in the blue back there.
Your slides seem to kind of allude that maybe this was the next iteration of communication. How do you see this working with email in the future, and do you foresee Quip potentially replacing email or something like that?
So I've been at Salesforce for a while, actually, and I just, in January, started working with the Quip team. And I used to wake up in the morning and have like 60 emails in my inbox. And since I moved to the Quip team, I can say that I wake up with like only 2 or 3 emails in my inbox now, which is pretty exciting. We look at it in terms of, I think a lot of us spend a lot of time sending emails internally to teammates and colleagues, and that takes up a lot of your time. I think there's still value in potentially, so I think removing that obstacle and that challenge in a day, I think would be really helpful for teams. So we want to continue to look at ways where we can improve internal cross-team and organizational communications. Of course, there's still lots of great uses for email. And potentially, maybe communicating with outside groups. You can share Quip documents with outside parties as well, so maybe that would eliminate some of it. But we really see it as that internal remover of that internal team email in that sort of space. And who knows in the future, but again, we find that there's such value in talking and doing our work together and not jumping around to a million different apps.
We've been promised multiple email killers. It's really tough to kill email. We default to it. To Sarah's point, this is about most of the time internal communication. What we're trending towards is we think email is a terrible collaboration and productivity tool, and that's what we're trying to get after. We're trying to improve the way teams work together. So we're not trying to kill email. We're just trying to say there's a better way of working. And when you go all in as a company or a team in Quip, you start seeing the benefits of it.
We're getting the hard
Great.
sell. All right. Well, thank you
very
everyone
much.
so much for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of Trailhead DX.